Hi. Middle of March, so it's time to look at the books that I've read so far. I apologise for the noise outside. My neighbour is being very industrious. Right, so what did I read? I had a good first half of the month, I've read some of the book A Long List as well, so I'm quite pleased about that. The first one I read was off the book A Long List, and it's The Land in Winter by Andrew Miller, and this one has won the Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction, and I thought it was absolutely stunning. It's set in 1962 in a community near Bristol in the UK, and it's set during the time when England was enduring the biggest freeze on record. Everywhere was under thick snow. And it focuses on two couples, Eric, who's the local GP, and his wife Irene, and Bill, who's learning farming from Farmers Weeklies. He doesn't come from a farming family. He's decided he wants to go into farming, and he's learning as he goes along almost. And his wife, Rita. Irene and Rita are both in early stages of pregnancy, and they are both lonely, they're both isolated, and they're both almost fearful of being pregnant. Rita, Bill's wife, is fragile mentally, and pregnancy seems to be overwhelming her. And Irene is just she doesn't feel that she belongs. She feels outside, and these two women join together. They form a bond. Their secrets. Rita's got a shadowy past. Eric's got secrets. And with the big freeze, they are isolated. They can't go anywhere. It's well written. There's a building tension. I thought it was absolutely stunning. Then I read this one that was sent to me by a publisher, Bad Girl Pie, and this was a fun read. It has got recipes in the back, and if you check out the video that I did of this one, I did try one of the recipes. You've got Dots, who's a ghostwriter. She writes memoirs, cookbooks, and to get into her character, into the people she's ghosting, she always borrows a pair of their shoes and wears them while she's writing. She comes up with an idea for her own book, and her agent steals it and gives it to somebody else. So that's one thing that goes wrong in her life. Then she goes to see her father who's dying, and almost suffers a near fatal accident. And she loses herself in tango. Her passion is tango dancing, and even the romance she formed with a fellow dancer, that's gone sour as well. So three things have sort of conspired against her, but she doesn't give up. She finds new venues for dancing. She finds new partners. She escapes from under this blanket of insecurity that her father had sort of pushed her under, and you root for her. You really do root for her. Then I read another from the book list, and this was Audition by Katie Kitamura, and even now, sort of a few days after reading it, I still don't know. It's an the real interpretation of it. I felt it was a novel in two parts. You've got an unnamed narrator who's a middle-aged Asian American actor, and she's rehearsing for a new play. The action opens when she's in a restaurant meeting Xavier, who's a very good-looking young man. And she spots her husband and is fearful that her husband might have spotted her with Xavier, because she has been known to have affairs in the past. Though she's not having an affair with Xavier, he's asked to meet her because he thinks she might be his mother, which she says she isn't absolutely impossible. There's no way you are my son. The play she's rehearsing, there's a transition scene and she can't quite get the handle on it, how she's supposed to portray it. First part of the story. Then the second part of the story, it's sort of switched. The play that she was struggling with is now a resounding success. And Xavier is now moving in with her and her husband. And he's her son. So you've got two different parts. Which is real, which is not. Somebody said, well, it's like the play. This is a performance. The second half is the performance of the play that was talked about in the first half. I honestly don't know. The narrator herself talks about everything has two stories. There's always two stories taking place. What's happening to us and what's happening around us. I don't know about this one. I really don't. Then I listened to When the Museum is Closed by Emma Yagi, who wrote Diary of a Void, which I still haven't read. And this is a strange, oddly compelling little tale with elements of magical realism. You've got goddesses, statues of goddesses in a museum. And Rika, who's also known as Hora through the story, is a bit of an outsider. She seems to be enclosed all the time in a yellow raincoat that nobody else can see. It's like a sort of barrier, but nobody else sees it, only her. Her one skill is that she can hold conversations in Latin. I studied Latin when I was at uni, but I certainly couldn't have a conversation in Latin. And she is hired to go once a week to sit with the statue of Venus and talk to her in Latin. So you've got talking goddesses. Because the other goddesses in the room with Venus are Greek goddesses. And of course they chat away in Greek and Venus has got no one to talk to. So she goes and talks to Venus. So Hora goes and talks to Venus and she finds herself falling in love with Venus. And she finds herself in competition with the museum curator Hashinami, who is obsessed with Venus. It's a compelling little tale. I really couldn't put that one down. Then I read the book that won the Yoto Carnegie Prize, and I hadn't had a chance to read this while before the winner was announced, because my library never got it to me in time. And so I finally got to read the winner. And it's not a romance novel, but it's about love. It's about finding not the person you want sexually, but the person who is not just your closest friend, but the person who makes you feel safe, who you can talk to, turn to when life becomes dark, and who will lighten it for you. The one person you will trust with every sense in your body, every cell in your body. You've got Banjo, a fiery, red-headed young man, and Finley, who's a very repressed, awkward, blonde guy. And they meet when they share a room in a care home. They're both in the care system. And they both come from very troubled backgrounds and have very deep-seated issues. Banjo is quick to violence, full of self-doubt, unable to accept that there's people in the world who actually care about him. And Finley's got a secret that he's frightened to vocalise, afraid that once he tells it, he'll be rejected. These two meet, they become family almost in this care home until a day a major betrayal happens, and then they don't speak again. And 3 years down the line, they do finally meet and come together, because there's a chasm between the two boys, and you feel that unless that chasm can be breached, then nothing will ever be right for them. It's a story of hope and love, and the final chapter broke me. Then another from the book list, Universality by Natasha Brown. I think this is a novel that's going to be divisive, looking at reviews, and I think it's going to be a novel that does very well in the bookers. For me, It's about society that's trying to talk about privilege and diversity and everything in the media at the moment. People trying to find out where they fit because there doesn't seem to be a solid base anymore. Words used in the media are becoming more and more powerful. The novel's told in multiple perspectives. You start with a newspaper article about a young man who attended an illegal rave, because this rave happened during COVID, so it shouldn't have happened, because everything was locked down. And he assaults the leader of the Universalists, a political group whose aim is to promote an alternative lifestyle, with a gold bar that he's stolen. And as the novel progresses, you have the perspective of the disgraced banker whose gold bar it was, and the journalist who wrote the article. And you've got Lenny, who wrote a book, No More Woke, which was a bestseller. You've got different perspectives, and there doesn't seem to be a reliable narrator there. And there seems to be alliances forming, factions forming, all guided by the media. I think it's a book that will do well in the bookers, although I thought I might have got it. I don't know. And then the final one I read was Days of Light by Megan Hunter, and this was another gorgeous one, full of lyrical prose and characters that you can sit with. A novel about motherhood, loss, love, spirituality. It takes place over 6 decades, and we have a day in each of the 6 decades, and it's always Easter. Each decade we visit Easter at one point in that decade. The beginning of spring, the beginning of renewal, the sense of renewal. We start Easter Sunday 1938, and our main character throughout is 19-year-old Ivy. And her family are based loosely upon the Bloomsbury group. They're a very arty family. Her mother's an artist, her mother's lover's an artist, her father lives close by with a string of female companions, her aunt is a writer, and her uncle is a playwright. It's a very sort of arty group. Then something happens, and a tragedy occurs, and it's a day that never leaves Ivy, because she is convinced that on the day that this tragedy happened, she saw a light she has never been able to describe, a light she's never been able to explain. And the thread, the motive of light, goes through the novel, through the decades, and it's a thread that occurs when we meet Ivy again in 1944, 1956, 1965, 1999. It's a light that appears as lightning, as flames, and it's a light that transforms her almost. There's a sense of faith, spirituality, and her understanding of this light finally comes in 1999. The cover of this novel, if you can see it, is very reminiscent of the Dutch paintings who focused on light. And her mother and her lover are also trying to capture light in their paintings. There's a theme of motherhood in here. Ivy's relationship with her mother, her own relationship with her daughters. It's a novel about the life that Ivy lived and the choices she made and her faith and her own self-discovery. I thought it was a lovely read. So I read 3 of the bookers and some other nice books as well, but my book at the top of the list so far, this part as we get to the middle of the month, is The Land in Winter by Andrew Miller, because I thought that was stunning. So that is top spot so far. When we get to the end of August, will it be knocked off? Who knows? So that's it. Happy reading. Take care.